All right, so the first thing we want to discuss is the three doors of openness. And this was something that I think we actually came up with when we were driving down the road one time. Remember that? We were coming back from Idaho and
Right. Well, it's the idea because we'd be in these classes and we realized that you have to you basically have to discover openness by phases throughout the process. And so I think, during that drive to Idaho, we had narrowed it down to three specific doors.
right. And I think the reason that this was a big challenge in the beginning was that when we'd be teaching classes, we didn't know like how to incorporate the business into it. Like even when we were inviting people, it's like, well, do you invite them to learn about the business? Do you invite them to learn about the oils? Do you invite them? What exactly are we doing? And then the three doors appeared, and we're like, ah,
Right. It's kind of like when I first invited you and you said, "Hey, let's do this." Do what?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to enroll? Yeah, I want to enroll. How do we do that?
Right. Exactly. So the three doors are basically what?
Well, the three doors are basically the psychology of openness in each individual. And so there's three basic areas that we're trying to discover openness in our prospects. And the first one is, are they open to even learning about the essential oils? And then if they are they open to even using the essential oils? And if they are they open to sharing those essential oils with other people and earning an income?
Right. So the three doors typically are things that we do in order.
Right.
Right. So you're gonna invite someone to see if they're open to learn. So I might call someone up and say, "Are you open to natural forms of health and wellness?"
Mm-hmm.
And they would say, "Yes, I am." And if the door's open, then we invite them through that door to the first event, which is an essential oil class.
Right.
Right. And then in the class they've learned, and then we invite them through door number two at that point. Like, are you now open to use the products? Now that you've learned about it, would you be open to use? And then if they are, then we'll invite them to a membership overview after, typically we invite them to enroll.
Right.
And then invite them to a member overview. And then finally, at that point, if they're using the product, then they're typically open to sharing. Normally, we go in through the doors in that motion of learn, use, and share. Is there ever a time that we lead with door three?
Well, I think what it looks like is basically for someone to be successful in the business, all three doors have to be open, obviously. But if as you master the three door concept, then you can inadvertently ask small questions that tell you which doors are open. So, for example, if somebody was expressing that they recently lost their job, for example, then that might be a cue where I might inadvertently say, "Hey, are you open to the idea of other ways to make an income?" And so that would be a way that I'm actually looking or finding out, is that income door open? But I still have to find out if they're open to sharing oils to make that money.
Mm. Now, I know that when we actually start this process of calling a names list, we put everybody we know down on a list and we're going to call them. Most of the people are scared to death to call that list. Mm-hmm. And the reason that they are scared is typically because of door number three, right? Like they're going, "Oh my word,
Right.
door three is..."
Because they don't want to be that evil network marketer.
They don't want to be the network marketer.
Right.
And so one thing that I found is that if I just focus on door number one, who on my list would be open to learning about natural forms of health and wellness or learning about essential oils, then, and I don't worry about doors 2 and 3. I'm not concerned about, okay, is this person going to want to buy or use the product, or are they going to be interested in an opportunity? Just who's open to learn. If I think that, then typically it takes away all the fear that I normally experience by calling people up.
Right. And also when you're looking at that, you're looking at all three doors. It's once you have mastery. Typically, when you're just starting out and just learning, you're going to want to go in order as much as possible. So you're just finding out who in your network wants to learn. But another point I was thinking of on that door three, if I ask somebody, are they open to exploring other ways of earning an income? I still need to go right back to door number one.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I'd asked you, if you came to me and said, "Wow, income's really tight. I wish," and then I said, "Hey, have you ever thought of having a business from home? Are you open to the idea of creating a business from home and through other things?" And if you say yes, then I'll probably say something like, "Well, what do you know about essential oils?"
Yeah, you still have to go
Right.
start at the basics.
Right.
So even if you start with door three, I'll give you an example. I did call someone up and I said, are you open to natural forms of health and wellness? Something along those lines. And she goes, "Oh yeah, totally." And I'm like, "Well, what do you know about essential oils?" And, "Yeah, I use essential oils." I'm like, "Oh," and so.
Right,
And then
you go through those doors
right,
really fast.
Exactly. And then I was like, "Oh, well, what brand do you use?" "Oh, I use this brand." I'm like, "Okay, so this is someone who's learned and has used the product already, and so therefore I could walk to door three right away."
Right.
And so when you like you're saying, when you master the three door process, you you can feel where people are already open based upon the answers they're giving
Right.
you.
I contacted somebody yesterday, matter of fact, and I just asked them. They asked me what I was up to, and I said I'm dealing oils, and they said, "Oh, you're still in DoTerra." And then I said, "Yeah, are you using and abusing oils?" And they came back, "Yeah, but I'm not interested in selling them."
Mm.
Right? So I all in about 2 interchanges, I had gone all the way through all 3 doors.
You knew where their openness
Right.
was and where their openness ended.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I
Okay.
did it kind of inadvertently.
Okay, so the 3 doors is just a simple way to chronicle the openness level of the person that you're working with, whether they're open to learn, whether they're open to use, and whether they're open to share, and then to meet them wherever they're at, and then watch as people kind of move through those doors.